You're listening to DC High Volume, Batman. Barbara Gordon was Batgirl, daughter of Commissioner James Gordon and one of Batman's most trusted allies in his war on crime. But that was before the Joker, before the bullet through her spine, before everything changed. Now Barbara must discover what it means to go on when all she had, and all she believed herself to be, has been torn away. And now, Oracle, Year 1.
Just as despair can come to one only from other human beings, hope, too, can be given to one only by other human beings. Elie Wiesel, born 1928. I can't believe I was such an idiot. I'm Barbara Gordon. My father, my adoptive father, is Commissioner Gordon of Gotham City. I've lived in Gotham City most of my life.
Okay, guys. Inside voices, lads. Right, sorry.
Thanks, Dad. I'm no novice. I ran one of the largest libraries on the East Coast. I was Batgirl, for crying out loud. I have fought everything from crooked bureaucrats to costumed crazies.
Riddle me this. Who is...
So, one night, I hear a buzz at the front door, and I just go and open it. I don't use the peephole to see who it is. I don't have the chain on. I just go and open the door. What was I thinking of? Help. Oh, it was the Joker. And he had a gun. And there was a flash. And there's blinding pain inside me, and I am falling, and I hear myself screaming, and my dad shouting, and... I don't remember much else, fortunately. I'm not sure what else happened, except I woke up in the hospital with part of my spine shot away. And I have these nightmares. And sometimes when I wake up, things aren't much better.
Barbara, didn't mean to disturb you. I understand you're going home tomorrow.
Yes. The doctors tell me I was lucky. The Joker was using a doctored bullet half the grains of a normal .45. Had he been using a regular bullet, I would have been dead before I hit the floor. And he didn't want that, no. No, he wanted me alive. Not because I have any intrinsic worth or meaning to him, of course. No, shooting me, kidnapping my dad, it was all just a way to get at you. Do you understand how humiliating, how demeaning that is? My life has no importance save in relation to you. Even as Batgirl, I was perceived just as some weaker version of you.
I caught him, Barbara.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. I heard how you two stood there laughing over some private joke. Tell me, was it me? Good. I hope I've hurt him. It's nothing compared to the pain I felt. Or will feel. And so, 10 weeks and 3 days after the Joker shot out my spine, I was sent home. The media were in full attendance.
Please, neither I nor my daughter has a statement to make at this time.
Leave me alone.
Please, give us a little privacy.
No, I don't want any pictures, please.
We're over here.
You know, when you're healthy, when you're whole, there's a million simple things you do every day that you take completely for granted. Things that, for me, were no longer so simple. Such as getting in a car. I used to jump in and jump out like most people. Now every move had to be planned, almost choreographed.
I got you. I'm holding you steady. I got you. Back off. Sorry about this.
In full view of everyone.
You did that very well, honey. You okay?
No, Dad, I'm not. The press wouldn't even have bothered if I hadn't been your daughter, Dad. I'm not me. I'm a symbol. We're big on symbols in Gotham. You refuse to have police guarding our home. Every other big city police commissioner has them, but you wanted to symbolize how open your administration is.
And you got hurt because of it. I'm sorry, Babs.
I am too, Dad. I am too. So began my 6 months in shadows. I went to both my physical and emotional therapists.
Steady. Let your arms take the weight. Good.
I had to accept I was never going to walk again. Part of my spine was shot away, the spinal cord hopelessly damaged.
Here, come over here. Let me massage the legs for you. Keep them from atrophying. There you go.
Worst of all was the fear I felt of being physically helpless, unable to defend myself, of having no sense of self, of feeling that I meant nothing, that my life was now over.
Many people in similar situations feel this way, Barbara. It's completely natural and 100% normal. You're not alone.
I sat in the back bedroom of my father's apartment for weeks, afraid to go out, afraid of the next day. And what would happen to me if, God forbid, Dad should die or be killed? How would I live? On charity? I was tired of being a victim. I had skills and abilities long before I became Batgirl. It was time to make them work for me again. It was time to stop being afraid.
Where do you want these, Miss Gordon?
Just in here. Thank you.
You got it.
With a grant from the Wayne Foundation, I set up shop in my bedroom. I put together as powerful a computer setup as I could. One thing I knew how to do was research, and thanks to my modem, I could tap into databases worldwide. I discovered I had an affinity for computer hacking, and I started to make some money. All right, here we go. I got into the internet before the general public really knew what it was, and I discovered a world there. The internet was a community of people talking, arguing, romancing, helping one another. And you didn't even have to use your real name. You were simply who you were online. I found an enormous freedom and complete acceptance there. And for a time in my life, the cybernet was more real to me than the world outside my window. In a strange way, I became more real to me as well. More content, more happy. Then, one night at dinner, a chain of events began that led me to where I am now. Dad? What's wrong?
Sorry, Babs. It's work.
When isn't it? What is it this time? Tell me.
There's this financier, a woman by the name of Ashley Mavis Powell. We know she's laundering money, but we don't know how. She does stuff with computers. I know it's your field, honey, but I hate him.
Poor Dad. He was a Luddite when it came to computers. Still, I was intrigued. Armed with his #1 dad mug and our bottomless caffeine supply, I started to ask around the internet what my friends might know about this Ashley Mavis Powell. I got a quick reply from Sylvia Candry, a police computer operator working out of NYC.
Girl, you're talking about a criminal we also know as Interface. And she is a nasty piece of work. Interface actually has a low-level metahuman talent that lets her interact directly with computers. Oh, she alters files, reroutes things, makes disks crash, always louses up the evidence so it's unusable. She's also a child abuser. We would love to get her in jail on any pretext, just to get her away from kids. Be extra careful of her. She's very sick and very dangerous. And SK.
Dad probably knew most of this already. I can understand why he didn't tell me. I hate people like that. I decided to go after her via my computer. She was elusive, but I was determined, and I had nothing else to do. At Dad's insistence, I started going out more, making my way around the city. He was right, of course, but I didn't like it. I was a gymnast at one time. I was a dancer. I loved how my body moved. Now I just felt conspicuous and clumsy. I used to walk everywhere, and the traffic never bothered me. Now, I'd come to a busy street corner, and I'd feel myself start to panic.
Trying to get across,
Oh, that's all right. I can do it myself. I really don't need any help.
I'm not offering my help. My name is Ashley Mavis Powell, and it has come to my attention that you are sticking your nose into my affairs, you little cripple, and I don't like it. Go play in the traffic, little girl.
Someone in the crowd helped me get back into my chair as Ms. Powell disappeared. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm fine. She made me feel like a helpless victim again, and had laughed doing it. Ms. Powell had just made the biggest mistake of her life. I needed a resource, and not one from Batman or my father. One I would find on my own. I am confined to a wheelchair and need to find some form of self-defense. Anyone have any ideas? End. Babs.
I get into character.
Babs, I know someone who might be able to help you. I've taken the liberty of setting the wheels in motion. If interested, be in Robinson Park, just past the Centograph. A little after noon. Hope it works out. And matches.
Hope this helps, Barbara.
Robinson Park, just past the Centograph. Still not sure what I'm doing here, or who I'm even looking for, but I keep my eyes open. I roll past a couple of unhoused drifters resting under a tree when I suddenly feel like I'm being watched.
I take it you're Babs? Friend of yours told an acquaintance of mine about you. Don't let the appearance fool you. My name's Richard Dragon, and I'm here to help you. Maybe. First, tell me what it is you want.
I don't want to be afraid anymore.
Fear's useful in moderation. What do you really want?
To walk again. Can you fix that?
Nope. That's not what you're really seeking.
Well, I want my life back.
That's who you were, not who you are. Who are you?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever knew.
Now you're ready to begin. That's what you're here to discover. And these may help. These Eskrima sticks are my gift to you.
And so began the weeks, the months, in the park. Learning from a street bum named Richard Dragon.
Good!
Philippine art of stick fighting called eskrima. The physical and mental discipline honed questions of my identity. Strangely, or perhaps not so strangely, the answer came in the form of a dream. In my dream, I am walking. I am dressed as Batgirl once more. I know, with a dreamer's certainty, that I am in classical Greece. Just as instinctively, I know I am at Delphi, and the masked woman before me is the priestess who speaks for the gods, the Oracle. Speak, child. Ask me your questions. I've lost so much. I've lost everything I thought I was. Who am I now? How do I go on? You have lost nothing that matters. You have everything you need. Everything before leads up to now, and now leads to what shall be. I don't understand. Take away your mask, and I will take away mine. Then you will understand. I remove the Batgirl cowl. Oh, she is me. Now do you see? And then I woke up. Oh! And I did understand. I knew exactly what I was going to do with Ashley Mavis Powell. I realized that the internet could be a mask as surely as any cowl. I could assume an identity, and this time not a secondhand version of someone else. This would be mine, my mask, my shield, my persona. 3 weeks later, I had everything ready. I hurled my gauntlet at Interface.
Huh? Wait, what's this?
Greetings, Interface. This is Oracle. I know your secrets, and I will have what you hide. And nothing you can do will prevent that.
Oh, I don't think so. Whoever you are, I will track you back, crash your files, short your hardware, and collect your guts for garters.
Contact. Now Powell was arcing from site to site on the internet, her mind whipping around the world with the speed of thought, falling deeper and deeper into my trap. I had gotten her attention and drawn in her mind. Now all I had to do was execute my pre-arranged program. And go.
What?
Execute. How very appropriate.
No.
Powell was silent with the computer, and now I had it caught in a logic trap, endlessly repeating the same circuit over and over again at the speed of thought, unable to break free, until I cut her loose.
Who is this?
I activated the voice scrambler. All Powell would hear was a husky, metallic baritone.
You know who this is? This is Oracle. What I have just done to you, I can do again, anytime. I've set a post-hypnotic suggestion in your mind. I can trigger the logic trap anytime I choose, and I will, unless you do exactly as you're told.
Barbara, I'm home.
Good day.
That Powell woman, the crooked financier I told you about a few months ago, turned herself in today, along with all her files.
Oh, amazing. Dad, your hat? Really?
Hey, it looks good on you.
It does, huh? It felt like the right time to take another trip to Robinson Park.
Good afternoon, Babs. You look radiant today.
I am. I think I found, well, not the answer, but a start of the answer to my question.
Then, you no longer need me. You know the forms. Keep practicing. Grow great, little spirit.
Thank you, Sensei, for everything. A little over a year has passed since my old life ended, since I died and was reborn. The shadows remain, but only to give contrast to the light. I'm no longer a distaff impersonator of someone else. I am me, more than I have ever been. My life is my own. I embrace it, and the light, with a deep, continuing joy.
You've been listening to DC High Volume Batman, Oracle Year 1. The Batman Chronicles, Oracle Year 1 comic written by John Ostrander and Kim Yale, with artwork by Brian Stelfreeze and Karl Story. Directed by Fred Greenhalgh. Audio adaptation by Fred Greenhalgh, Roshan Singh Sambi, and Scott Lee Chua. Batman created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger. Starring Shelby Young as Barbara Gordon, with Jason Spizak as Batman, Jay Paulson as Jim Gordon, and Maura Vincent as Ashley Mavis Powell. Also starring Hayden Bishop, Jesse Birch, Ned Donovan, Ava Ascada, Amr Kotub, and Mick Wingert, with crowd voices by Philip Hobby, Heather Irish, Tony Riley, Casey Turner, William Walker, and Ashanti Williams. Casting by Sunday Bowling Kennedy and Meg Mormon CSA. Produced by Fred Greenhalgh and Roshan Singh Sambi. Executive producers for DC, Mike Pilata and Victor Diaz. Executive producers for Realm, Molly Barton and Carly Migliori. Production manager, Jordan Aconcia. Music composed by Sam Ewing and Perrine Virgil. Additional music by Marcus Thorne Bagala. Supervising sound design and mix by Jeff Schmidt. Additional sound design by Jonathan Roberts. Dialogue editing by Chia Yem Chong. Additional production support by Ondas Productions. Assistant editor Jamie Leidwinger. Associate producer Andrew Kwan. Production services provided by Realm. Video editor Tasha Carter. Recorded at Real Voice LA, CityVox, The Orange Lounge, and Acadia Recording Company. This podcast was recorded under a SAG-AFTRA agreement. Based on characters from DC, the characters and events depicted in this podcast are fictional. Any similarity to any actual person, living or dead, or to any actual events, firms, places, and institutions or other entities is coincidental and unintentional. This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries, and its unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability and criminal prosecution. Copyright and trademark DC. All rights reserved.